Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth, and today we're gonna do a tour of my little greenhouse in my office. So I don't have the time currently to do like a full office tour. I definitely want to do that before I move. However, I do have time for a little tour of my greenhouse. It's kind of what I call my plant hospital, though it's not necessarily a full hospital. So I thought we would take a tour of that today. Now I try to keep my plants labeled, but when I repot I lose the labels all the time and I'm awful at plant names. So I'm going to say it right off the bat. If I do not know a plant name off the top of my head, I will try my best to find it. And if I find it, I will put it on screen. Hopefully that's good enough. Let's just get started. All right, so here we have my little greenhouse. If you're new, this is my little greenhouse. The zipper is broken, so I don't usually zip it up all the way on this side. It only goes down about halfway, but I do zip it up on that side. But currently it's not zipped because I was gonna get into it anyways. And I figure we could start bottom up, because at the bottom, it's actually really boring. I've just got a ton of there's leca, there's diatomaceous earth, like pest stuff, as well as cleaning stuff. Right here, I've got my little squirter of diatomaceous earth. There's some fertilizers in here. I used to use this for my diatomaceous earth until I got the actual thing. This is just kind of all of my stuff. That's a fertilizer, powder, and underneath that in this container is leca. There's also, I think, more leca in the back, but I don't really go in the back. Then we go up. I only have 2 shelves, but this is my bottom shelf currently. So like I mentioned, this is my hospital. This is where I put plants that either need more humidity, need more consistent lighting, or are small. Why do I put small plants in here? Because they tend to do better, because I look in this place more often than I do other places. Now, I've recently, if you saw one of my more recent videos, I recently moved everything into tubs for the most part to avoid having a ton of trays, and they just fit better. So what I'm going to do is pull out a tub at a time, and then we'll talk about tubs. But because not everything is in a tub, I first want to mention this guy. This is an ANTHURIUM. Can't remember off the top of my head the type of ANTHURIUM. I will find that out for you. I put this guy in here, even though he's quite big, because I went through a period, and you can see here, where every time it grew a leaf, it just dropped it or it didn't even bother. The leaves I have do look really good. That's just damage because I probably bumped it. But it's finally putting out this leaf right here. This is brand new, and it's been struggling with it, if it'll focus, for a while. So we're happy that it is doing this. Yeah, now I'm just gonna pull out one of these containers at a time, and we can talk about the plants in them. All right, so bear with me. It is time to change out the water, so it is quite dirty. I also spilled dirt in my water recently and just haven't had a chance to do anything about it. So this tub is on the bottom shelf because it includes plants that I don't want directly under the bright light, and the bottom shelf is further away from the light. This is one of my leca tubs, though you can see I did accidentally pour some soil in there. Let's start just right here. This is my Philodendron Pink Princess. I recently chopped the top off because it looked absolutely horrendous, kept this bottom leaf, and that was maybe a couple of weeks ago. But if you look here, we've already got new growths coming in, and I'm trying to root the top in water with minor success. So we're doing all right with just one big leaf. This is a plant that I don't have an attachment to. I have it because it's neat, and at some point I thought oh, I should probably get that plant. So if it died, I probably wouldn't be that butthurt, but I enjoy the project of figuring it out. So that's that guy. Then behind him we have what I believe is a philodendron crocodile. I absolutely love this plant, and it used to be doing so much better than this. And I mean, you can see I have diatomaceous earth on everything right now. That's a different video that I promise my pest video will come out soon-ish. probably before I move in October anyways. These are two of the original leaves that just have not died off, which is wonderful. But every leaf between has, as you can see here, kind of similar thing that happened with the other aroid that I showed you earlier. So I put this guy in the hospital hoping that maybe he'll just get enough watering and consistent lighting, and we have created this beautiful leaf since being in the hospital. I put this guy in the hospital same time as the pink princess, and it looks like we are already going for another leaf, which is awesome. Now, this is not a success yet. It will be a success if this leaf hangs out for more than a week. It's finally like hardening off, but I'm pretty sure it's still struggling with pests. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a close-up. All of the plants in the hospital are struggling with pests. So like this guy being near the others isn't really that big of a deal. But we're still struggling with pests. I'm gonna have to spray this leaf with the diatomaceous earth. But that is still a problem, and that's been this guy and the pink princess's problem. I also significantly underwatered this guy frequently because of where he was located. So that's a problem we are solving. Don't come for me for the pests. I promise that's being addressed just not in this video. Down here we have what I believe is a silver snow peperomia, but it has died and come back a couple of times, so I think that's what this one is. But he's doing pretty well down here. He's way underneath because I don't know if it'll focus, but it's in such a tiny pot because it's a small plant, so it kind of sits down below everything. But that's totally okay. We love this guy, and he, I believe, might be my only peperomia that survived the winter, which is really sad because he's like my least favorite of the peperomias I had. But that's okay, they're replaceable. Then right out front, we have my tiny dancers. This guy also struggles with pests just because of the way the leaves are. So if it'll focus, it's got like this little cup. Pests love to hang out in there. So this guy actually, I kind of neglected him. He was one of those plants where I like put him somewhere I didn't see him often, didn't care about him, and like let him die, but then he wouldn't die. So I decided to do something about it because he was breeding pests. And so I put him in the hospital, cleaned him up, blah, blah, blah. And now he's doing really well. All of these leaves are new. He's been in the house in like the plant hospital, like a couple of months, I think. This leaf is brand new, and I haven't seen spider mites on him in a while. Spider mites was his kryptonite. Then we go behind, and we've got what I believe is my MONSTERA STANDLEYANA. This was a gifted plant. It's doing okay. I need, and you'll have to forgive my background, but I need to give him a post. I just haven't had a chance. But yeah, he's been stringing, and he's in the plant hospital so that he can get adequate lighting. But if it'll focus on this, yeah, it's not going to focus for whatever reason, but this right here is an actual leaf coming out. So that says to me I like really need to get him a post. It's on my to-do list. Maybe I'll make a video out of it. Then if we go next to this guy, we've got my Syngonium muddled, I think is what this one is. But he's really cute. He's just in the house because he's small. And like I said, all of my plants at the time of, like you can see them, at the time of filming this video have pests. So I'm not too worried about that. Again, like don't come for me in the comments about the pests. Different video will address it. But this guy, like I've never had problems with him. He's doing really well. I just want to make sure that he gets attention and doesn't die because of his size. Then right here we have my original house plant, my SCINDAPSUS PICTUS. It's in here for similar reasons. It's super small, and so I wanted to make sure that was getting attention. I have a connection with this plant, be it that it was my first house plant ever. So I just want to make sure that he continues to do well, and he has been struggling for over a year now. He also has an extremely long trailer. Could probably trim that up, but honestly I just haven't had the time. And he is also giving out an actual leaf at the end. So we'll take care of that at some point. Right now he's doing well, and I don't want to rock the boat. That is this little container. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this next one is a little smaller, has fewer plants in it. So right here we have what I believe is a philodendron black cardinal. This is new, so I need to look into that. But this guy is in here because the cats kept knocking him down where he was, and this was the only space that I had available. Looks like too much light maybe though, so I'm gonna have to move him. Then kind of similar deal with this guy, except this guy hasn't grown a leaf in months and months and months, so I wanted to put him somewhere where I could give him more attention and not forget about him. And look, we have, I don't know if it'll focus, we have a leaf, so success. And I'm not sure what this is. My original name for it is incorrect. Behind him we have this little, I believe it's an aeroid. What kind? Anthurium, I think. This guy is doing well. He's not thriving, he's not dying. I'm not sure if like his growth point got bumped or something, but he's been in here kind of just existing. Then over here we have some type of philodendron. If I'm gonna be honest, it's been struggling for at least a year now. I'm not entirely sure what type it is. And he's doing okay. I mean, he's been doing okay on and off for over a year now, so we'll see. We'll see how this guy goes. Then back here I've got some Syngonium ALBO variegata. These cuttings are in here just because I kept forgetting to water them, and so in here I don't forget to water them as often. There's nothing wrong with this plant, it's not struggling, it's like pest resistant. No matter how close to pests I put him, he doesn't get any. Never has. The mother plant's the same way, and the mother plant's fine. I just took some cuttings so that I could plant them back in the mother plant eventually, and this is just where they've been since, essentially. But they're doing well. They look beautiful. They're thriving. That's this container. So keeping in mind that we are looking at my hospital plants, these are a couple of soil plants that are not doing awesome. If you're familiar with my channel at all, you know that winters are rough for my alocasia, and I usually lose half of my alocasia, particularly if they're small. However, this winter, not only were we battling the dry, which took out a lot of my small ones, I was also battling pests. Again, ignore the pests. A different video coming soonish. So this little guy, I actually don't think this one's an alocasia, but I can't know really right now because it's a stump. It just doesn't look like an alocasia stump. But if it'll focus, there we go. This guy's doing okay. You're seeing a lot of diatomaceous earth on him. But this little green piece, this is new. It was completely brown. So this is good. This is wonderful. We love this. And then I'll get to figure out which plant it is because honestly, I've lost track. Then over here, we have an ANTHURIUM. This guy was doing okay, and then he just dropped like all of his leaves. And so I moved him into the hospital, and he's been doing really well since. This like really crankly leaf was coming out, and then I dropped him in a past video. I'm not sure which video, so like you'll have to figure that out if you're curious enough. And it's of course not focusing on the plant, but it's kind of scraggly and weird, which is fine because we've got another growth point coming up, and that's really awesome. We love that. Then over here we do have a alocasia stump. If it'll focus, my camera is just not having it today. I'm so sorry. This, I just pulled off like a crusted leaf from here, but it's got another, if it'll focus on it at all, little leaf coming out there. So we're doing good considering. And this guy, again, was just one of those plants that just double hit this winter, but he's got a phenomenal root system I've checked. So we're just letting him recoup this spring with lots of water, fertilizer, light, humidity, you name it. And so that is my bottom plant shelf. This is where the bulk of my hospital plants are. If we move up to the top shelf, this has significantly fewer, but I want to kind of peek into here because what this is an experiment for a cat bed. I'm trying hydroponic cat bed, and you can see that some of the grass is growing. It's in desperate need of water right now. But this is an experiment that is going. I didn't create a video for it, but let me know if you want to be updated on it at all. This is just like an old litter box. Then we come over here, and if you know about this project, you know about this project. Nothing has changed. That's just been there because I'm in denial. And then we've got these plants back here, and I will pull them out so that we can look at them. All right, so these are the plants on the top shelf. These are generally more variegated high light plants that are also in need of humidity or are small. So we'll take a look at these guys. I want to start here because this is a fan favorite on my channel, doing well. But he's been doing well, definitely in need of a moss pull right now because we skipped a leaf here and that says to me, hey, I'm looking to grab onto something. But we've got a new leaf here, so working on getting him a moss pull. Then we come over here, and this was once a philodendron something. I've just been attempting to bring it back. It's similar to the other philodendron something. It like attempts to come back and then dies off and then attempts to come back and dies off. If it doesn't do better this spring, I'm probably going to give up on it because transferring this for a move seems useless to me. It definitely won't survive. Then back here we have Syngonium Army. This one I forgot to water once and then it lost all its leaves, so I stuck it in there to recoup. It recouped and then I forgot to water it once and then it died like in a matter of half a day. But it's coming back, it's doing well. We're going to just make sure that it gets lots of water. I transferred it to LECA so that it has a higher chance of staying hydrated. My LECA plants they tend to have more chance at staying hydrated. It's easier to know if they need water because I have to clean it so frequently, due for a clean, and I just keep the water levels at about 1 inch in the buckets. Then if we go back, we have my Florida Ghost. This guy, was really struggling. I don't think he was getting enough humidity where he was. So I moved him into there, and then it popped out this leaf, which is awesome, and now it's popping out this leaf, which is awesome, and these are 2 original leaves. And then we have this guy. This guy is doing phenomenally awful. So this is my Alocasia SENTE variegata. It always has 1 to 2 leaves per plant. There's 2 plants in there. That are well variegated. However, as soon as a plant hardens off, it collects bugs and then dies off for a new one. And it's probably half fertilizer, but it's also pests. Really kind of struggling with this guy. I think maybe I just need to clean him more often, which right now is not realistic. Yeah, see, we've got pests there. So this plant over here only has 1 leaf and 1 leaf coming. So I'm going to keep it up and just give it a clean after this video. But then you've got like this leaf doing really well, but look at all those pests. He does really well despite the pests, so I can't imagine what it'll be like once I get the pests under control. But this guy pops out leaves so often I can't keep the diatomaceous earth on him long enough. And that's a me issue. Like, it's totally doable. The solution is easy. I just have to be better at doing it. I've thought about putting him in his own, like in a separate bin, kind of like this guy, so that he can get more fertilizer, because I don't want to over fertilize these guys. But I also just haven't had the time. And I also want to give you an update on one more plant that is no longer in there. All right, so the guy in question is this guy. This is the original leaf. This is our newest leaf. And this is our trailer. This guy was trailing and I was wondering if he wasn't getting enough light, so I moved him closer to the window to test. And the test seems to be doing well because we were putting out an actual leaf, but he definitely needs to get a moss pull so that he can trail up something. And I haven't decided if I'm going to trim up the trail and propagate it or what. He's very resistant to pests. I mean, honestly, both of these have been, knock on wood, but they've been doing really well despite. And I really would love another leaf like this, so if I could give it a moss pole. All right, so that is my greenhouse. Kind of more so my plant hospital than anything else, but that's what I've been hiding from y'all. So let me know if you thought that this video was interesting at all. I'm not interested in tips for the pests. Don't comment pest information down below, I won't even read it. I'm not interested in that. These are the worst of the worst of my plants. I have it under control, or I'm in the process of having it under control, but I don't need more tips. What I'm doing is working. I'm just not doing it consistently enough, and that's a me thing, not a I need your tips thing. But otherwise, yeah, these are my hospital plants. This is kind of the nasty of my collection. Some of them are the nasty of my collection. The others are just kind of the small and vulnerable of my collection, or the pest infested of my collection. So I keep them hidden away from everybody else in the greenhouse. But yeah, let me know if you like this video, if you like houseplant content, if you like updates on these guys. Totally let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in the pest video coming soon. It's coming soon-ish. I just have to finish filming it. And also I just need some more time for it, but let me know if you're interested in that, and then maybe I'll prioritize it a little bit better. Ring the bell, subscribe, like, all of the things. I'd love to hear about your own hospital plans in the comments down below. I will see you next time.